I've been putting this one off for a while now. In my very first video, which I started recording in September last year, I said I was moving out of my starter base. I said the same thing in my next video, and then the next, and then I stopped mentioning it. I had 15 subscribers and I thought nobody would notice. Since then, that video has gone from having 50 views to about 6,500. And people are starting to notice why I've never actually used that storage system. It's because it might be the worst designed bit of redstone machinery ever constructed. I don't even know how I thought this was a good idea. This thing is beyond terrible. I knew that when I built it, but I'm not good enough at redstone to make it any better. I've had at least 4 people write me detailed reports about why it's terrible and how to make it better. And if you were one of those people, don't feel bad, it was really helpful. You 4 are the reason this video even exists. But I never really had the guts to tear down the redstone and start again. But I could only bury my head in the sand for so long, so I finally started working on it again, and I'm happy to say that 500 days after I started this project, it's finally finished. Here's how it went. I need 2 of every single item in the game for this storage system. 1 to label the chest with, and 1 for the item filters. And that includes all the expensive stuff like netherite blocks, all types of food, raw and cooked, and all the 1.21 items. So I'm kicking off this very long process by going to a trial chamber to get all of the new items. I know people like to complain a lot about Mojang being lazy, myself included, but this update is actually pretty cool. You guys wanted an update to the dungeons, so they had an entirely new combat focused structure, and people still complaining about how they don't think it fits into the game. Like, just don't go to them then. Either way, this update's a 7.5 out of 10, so we'll think about this instead of whatever the hell they're trying to do with the Minecraft movie.
An ender pearl.
Also, the mace might be the funniest thing ever added to this game. So, after raiding 6 trial chambers, I had all the new 1.21 items. I could move on to the other 800 items in the list. This literally took 2 weeks. We are starting this very long process with every single wood type object in the game. I also need all the ore variants. I need some of this copper to age. I also need beacons, nether stars and wither roses, so I threw a fish in there with the wither to get a wither rose. Moving on to the foliage. What actually is the difference between dark oak leaves and regular oak leaves? I swear they are exactly the same. Just to put into perspective what I was up against, here's a small selection of what I had left. Every colour of concrete, concrete powder, terracotta glaze, terracotta glass and glass panes, every type of flour, everything sculpture related, all the food, turtle eggs, redstone and crops, and many other things that I just can't include because this section will go on for half an hour. But after 2 weeks I arrived at the final item, everything sniffer related. So I initially wanted to put the sniffers in the fossil falls area, but they kept, you know. So I've instead opted to build them a much safer pen on top of one of these pillars. Right, let's actually put some sniffers in here. I also want to make some farmland so I can actually plant the flowers and some other things around the area. Huh? Right, I need to build some sort of collection system so I can get the seeds. We will be using hopper minecarts because they are cheap. I'm going for a design pretty similar to a server I used to play on during everybody's 2-week Minecraft phase. It's a shame these guys can only dig up 2 types of flowers because I think they're pretty cool. And with that, I think that should be everything. You may be wondering why I'm tearing down a significant portion of this build. Firstly, this is way too claustrophobic, I want a build I can fly around in, and secondly, and more importantly, I just think it's ugly. I built this reactor a year ago, I think I can do much better than this, so I'm taking down the walls to open up the space so the new decorations are actually visible. I also need a lot of glass, which means I need a lot of sand, and my old sand duper got taken down when I removed the end. At this point, I finally started hitting my stride with this build. I'd been stumped as to what to do with it for months, and finally getting somewhere was such a good feeling. Also, because I love giving myself too much work to do, I decided I wanted to decorate this place with every single armor trim in the game, so I went to go get the remaining ones I didn't have. I also spent an afternoon rebuilding the glass up here because I was lazy the first time and only did one layer. Anyway, that's all the decorating I can do without dealing with the storage system, so I think it's about time I finally sort out this mess. I'm sure most of you know this, but this is a hopper. It can move items between other hoppers and chests, very useful for storage. Every single game tick that a hopper is loaded in, it has to perform a series of checks regarding whether there is an item on top of it or inside of it. This creates a tiny bit of lag every single time it happens. This is my storage system. It uses 9,000 hoppers, none of which are switched off or have any way to reduce the lag, which means that it is performing a lag check 180,000 times per second, which, as I'm sure you can guess, is not ideal. As soon as I found this out, I did what any other sane person would do, and I ignored it for 9 months, and then waited for someone else to fix it for me. And that someone was a user by the name of AnApacheMedjai, who offered to build me an entirely new storage system from scratch. I genuinely cannot thank him enough for doing this because he had no reason to whatsoever, and this video wouldn't be possible without it. So I'll leave his channel in the description. Now this is all well and good, but I still need to take down my old storage system because it's kind of just in the way now. Yeah, I'm not going to show you all of that. It was literally just me breaking hoppers for about 6 hours. The good news is most of the materials from my old storage system can be transferred over to the new one. All I really need to do is just clear out some space. The new storage system is a little bit wider on each side, so I need to dig holes on the sides, I need to dig a hole for the input system, and I also need to dig tunnels for a chunk loading array. I'm just moving the beacons now so I have room for the water streams, and do you mind? Anyway, I can actually start building is what I was going to say. This new system is comprised of 4 main sections. First up, we have the input system. It splits items from boxes, the items get sent straight through into the system, and the boxes get split in 2 ways. Boxes that are full or empty end up in this Chemped? Partially full ones, which is most of them, end up here to be unloaded into the system. Then we have the storage halls, which have been switched from using hoppers to using water streams because it's just faster and it can handle multiple items at a time. Now this is my personal favourite part. This is an unstackable item filter. It sorts the really annoying items like minecarts, boats, lava buckets, tools, flint and steel, shears. Basically anything that can't be stacked can be put through here and put into their own chest. The way this works is there's a dispenser and the brewing stand and the fire, and then the bookshelf there, the bookshelf, and then finally we have the chunk loaders. These activate as soon as any items get into the system, leaving this area of the world loaded in no matter where I go, ensuring that this thing stays running. Speaking of, I need to build the other side of this system in the nether. We're in the final stretch now, but there's still quite a lot that needs doing. I need to connect the reactor to the castle upstairs through a series of tunnels. I need to display all the armor trims I gathered earlier, finish the item filters, move every single item I have in this world into this building, and then sort of just pretty this place up. So I'm making a start by building all the display cases for all the armor stands I'm going to have. I also need to turn this room, you know, into a room. I'm going to use this room here to put my nether portal so I can get in and out easily. While I'm doing random odd jobs, I need to fix this hidden entrance because it just leads to nothing. After finishing the tunnels and part of the decorations, I encountered an unexpected hurdle. I was poor. Duplicating armor trims requires 7 diamonds each, and you need 4 armor trims to get the full set, plus 1 extra to keep, which means that I need 28 diamonds per set of armor, and there's 24 sets of them, which comes out to 672 diamonds, which I do not have because I may or may not have used 70 diamond blocks in my Comet Observatory build. Thankfully, it occurred to me that end cities generate both enchanted diamond armor and diamonds, so I spent 3 hours raiding the end before heading to the mines to get the remainder of the diamonds. After 5 hours of end raiding and diamond gathering, I had literally everything I needed to finish this 1.5 year long project. The end goal is in sight. Surprisingly, the first test of the new storage system went perfectly. Even the unstackable filter worked, which I am so glad about because I would have had no idea how to even begin fixing it if it didn't. Anyway, what this all means is that I can do the final task of moving every single item I own from everywhere in this world into this new system. To be honest, I think the real reason I've been putting this off for so long is that I didn't want to leave my old base. I've had this hardcore world for 31 months. And for that time this place was my home and I'd grown pretty attached to it. I know it's just a Minecraft world, but it was genuinely a very bittersweet moment leaving this place behind. I want to thank anyone that has watched me work my way through this project over the last year or so. Your support has meant everything. And with these last shulker boxes, we are finally done.